Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and a warm welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. And yes, it is still not warm at all. In fact, every time we've been out recently, it's been coats and coats galore. It's also why I switched to my other cardigan, because it actually comes as part of a set with this coat for double warmth, but also doesn't make me break out into a sweat, which also happened this week. Speaking of updates this week, I'm not really sure what to necessarily say about this week. It feels like one of those times that not too much actually happened. I mean, I don't really know. Oh, by the way, I picked up when I said that route that I was going to go down last time. Yeah, I somehow remembered that. Actually, it was also because my parents wanted to do some shopping, and therefore came down with them and then diverged paths. So, yeah, I don't know. At some point I'm going to have to stroll down myself and just do a sweep for Christmas shopping. Which actually in Godalming is not actually that stress-inducing under most circumstances. It's more of a case of just picking out stuff for people. Which I guess is everything, really. Oh well, maybe I'll do a couple of routine checks on my lonesome so that people don't know what I'm up to. Other than the people who have just seen this video, so what do I know? But yeah, for now, it is filming time, which means an update on, I guess you could call this the Academy Week, if anything. Because, yeah, we went down a little bit of a rabbit hole. So I guess that kind of started off with when I was recovering and trying to get back in the game of doing streams after being sick for so long. I think the first thing that I attempted was another episode of FAFSA, or Fleming and Freezing Spirit Academy, because BB doesn't like me using that acronym, because it's the same one apparently as the US financial offices for student loans and such. Not sure if there are other things, not really familiar. The only FAFSA that I know is the Gacha one. Of course it is. So, yeah, it's been an interesting return to form, almost. I say almost because, I mean, it's felt a little bit different this week. Not gonna lie. Other than the fact that the guests have been more plentiful because we end up with too many through a series of errors, but also there seemed to be a lot more to talk about with stuff. I've forgotten just how frustrating FAFSA can be at times, because the last time I did a FAFSA video before now was back in well, actually it was the time that I accidentally started with doing the wrong video, but to cut the streams in half. But before that, I mean, was all the way back when I was in Galicia. So, yeah, it was a while ago, to say the least. And yeah, no, it's it's an interesting one, because I guess because I remember, now that I think about it, I remember a lot of the times when videos will on a technical level, as far as editing and production, step up the game, but because the story details, because I watched so many of these, end up getting muddled. That ends up clouding my judgment sometimes. So it's like, oh yeah, I haven't done a faster video in a while. I remember enjoying that process. Meanwhile, now that I think about it, every time that I have done one of those videos, I always end up losing my mind about something or other. In fact, that was actually included in the list of Jacob Butter moments in the compilation that Bon also made this week. And yeah, that was the previous episode. That's why I remember that, because I completely forgot about the freak out I had over the fact that someone who goes to a boarding school has not been away from home at night for such a long time. It's not like anyone has ever been clarified to be a day student, so to speak. That was never actually explained in any form. But yeah, and other times, I guess the other episodes, it was more of a case of like, it's weird how much lore's being discovered in real time versus before. And yeah, I don't know. Again, I have to watch it back. It's a curious one, and also because the creator of that series actually likes me watching those videos, so I'm in my mind I think, oh well, that must mean that usually when a creator enjoys me watching their content, it's because either they're self-aware enough to realize that, you know, what they make has a lot of room for improvement, or not in some cases, or they or maybe they don't see the parts where I'm losing my mind, particularly because Misty Firefox has somehow avoided that fate for some time now. Don't really know. I'm crossing a bridge. Actually, a lot of this is uphill. I probably should not do that. I think I came down this way last time. I ended up going around a massive loop to get back to where I wanted to. Oh, there's another bridge. You know what I'll just do from bridge to bridge. Speaking of that, actually, Ada mentioned something to do with how he actually recognized that my sound effect editing on the people above was reminiscent of a bridge series, which was a very deliberate choice because a bridge series have a restriction on what they can actually do based on whatever the original animation is, and I was restricted by the time limit I'd set myself, or Aiden has set me, and Gacha Life 2 at the time. So yeah, now that I think about it, it's been a month or so since that came out. I wonder if there's other voice-acted Gacha Life 2 stuff now. Or just in general, a Gacha Life 2 series. Because I didn't see any of those either, now that I think about it. Might have to get Emily on the case on that one. Don't really know. Oh, look at that. I stumbled off a place that I used to do volunteering in. I forgot that it was actually around here. Or that it was so close to walking distance. We only drove here. I don't know. Anyway, the what was I going to say? I was all going through Academy stuff, FAFSA. Yeah, so I thought to myself, oh well, you know, it enjoys it this much, therefore I must have enjoyed the series. Which, now that I think about it, a lot of people come back to gacha videos they find nostalgic or something, or they check out a bunch of them and they don't really, and they move on to the next one, but then they come back and then they realize, and then they think to themselves, wow, this is something that really wowed me. And it's only usually whenever I go into detail in reviews where people realize in certain cases, oh, this was overhyped to the heavens by me. Me as in the person who watched it originally, not me, the reviewer. Not me, the actual person you see in front of you right now. Gonna find, yep. There's a bridge that have been around here somewhere. I have to scale for it. I guess go down a path with actual cars. I'll see if I can weave through where there's silence. But yeah, that brought on a whole slew of Academy-related stuff that we checked out to varying degrees. Because, yeah, it seems that, because we haven't done too many Academy videos, I suppose. Although now I think about it, we've done more in that genre than we have in some others, particularly. I mean, I think I know why, actually. I mentioned this in one of the videos where I say that that the Academy trope in Gacha has evolved to the point where people are starting to be more original about it, even if it is slightly formulaic, which also translates to real life, well, because people also use the formulaic Academy to their advantage a lot of the time. So, I mentioned over the Sarcastic Productions video that where Red goes into a lot of those details too, specifically referring to super schools. But yeah, like you pick a school, you have a specific genre in mind, and you go from there. I guess there are a lot of magic academies people have done, myself included. But even then, the way that actually works in those Magic Academy things usually varies. I remember we watched a Magic Academy video a while back, and it was where they barely cast like any spells whatsoever. I guess it's all a balancing act. And even then, some of the time, it just boils down to what characters you have. So I guess it's becoming much more like how a mainstream media does things, I suppose. And that's kind of fascinating to me in a way, because the gacha community at its peak was known for, well, it's known for heat, but it was also known for copying each other. You know, because you would have one hated child who becomes a princess, then you have another one, then you have another one, sometimes without the princess part, so it was just the hated child, hated girl, hated boy. Yeah, it depends. You have celebrity in disguise, which was usually a singer and or YouTuber. And of course a bunch of stuff to do with alphas. You also have girl in all boys school, which is another one that has evolved seemingly in recent times, because a lot of the time was, you know, it was girl in all boys school or girl in all alpha school or something, but that was really it. Now you kind of get a blank in an all blank school. I mean, even when Gacha Plus came out, was going to do a series called A Shapeshifter in an all-night school, for example, also known as ASACs. I had that all planned out, but the first episode written, but you know, life gets in the way. People don't realize how many Gacha projects I have in reserve because I'm working on other stuff, or just trying to sort out my actual life too. That happens. But yeah, ordering reviews, to be honest, like, you know, keeping up with the daily grind for the most part, and then, which of course results in me being a bit more sleep deprived than I normally am, and therefore don't do mornings for the most part. Yeah, I don't know. It's you know, it's a difficult balance now, especially without, you know, university having like fixing the timetable that I actually have. Even then, sometimes that would get in the way, especially. So it's more of a case of, you know, now I have to actually arrange all this stuff together rather than I just have more time to do everything. I say that because my work is very flexible at the moment, which it will cease to be fairly soon. I don't know. Yeah, so I forgot. I was making a point about Gacha, wasn't I? I went off a tangent. And I could make that a separate video, honestly. It feels like a Comextry documentary to some extent, where, you know, essentially seeing how that evolved and the idea behind some of the stuff, like hated child and such. I think that also had a little leeway. There was like an Ice Princess video at some point, but even then, the episodes were beat to beat. It was too early in the process. Nowadays, you can pick up any sort of Academy video, and you can just see immediately what the differences are between them. I might have started from Oreo's Witch Academy, actually, which I still need to actually. I need to see that one in full, because I started it a couple of times. Because again, it's one of those gacha series that threatened to take away that's my title of longest running gacha series on YouTube, if it ever returns for a season 2. But yeah, like the actual opening again catches me. That's another thing that people have improved on Academy videos. The openings always seem to do something a little bit different, and then they derail immediately. I mean, even YouTuber Academy, which is the one that we watched yesterday, it ended up being, okay, there's the bridge all the way. Oh, we have to go through the station, that's why. Alright then. But even YouTuber Academy started off with, I guess, you know, it had off-screen narration about YouTubers and trying to, you know, establish where we were and how the YouTuber career has evolved, even though it really hasn't in that video. But also had just, you know, random examples of people doing their thing, you know, in shots that people don't normally bother with gacha, and then you just carry on with the videos, you know, with the narration on the train, which again, a lot of people have done, myself included. But I mean, with YouTube Academy actually continued. That's the one that we said actually became far better for us, because in that way we sorry, gonna go up here. There we go. Because it actually gave us some interesting characters, even if we had seen similar ones before. Reminded me a lot of Ultra Nova. And I've been recommended for quite some time, actually. I need to get through that one. But yeah, but those things, even though the one we did before that, Talent Academy, made me question my existence again, it's still, YouTube Academy still gave me hope about, you know, this particular genre, because I mean, I like super school stuff to begin with, so by all means, more of that. That's that's perfect in my eyes. But yeah, it's as I said before, a lot of the streams this week took a toll because I guess people have been itching to do more content. There's a lot more tangents that happen, and every single time that I think there's not a lot to say about a video, either an extra guest will pop up, or the existing guests will keep going down rabbit holes. I had to reintroduce the timer again, which I haven't done since My Shimmering Husband. So you can imagine my distress about that. But yeah. So it's interesting because again I try to say, like, you know, let's ease myself into these things, and then I pick the things that I've been itching to do. Even Disco Pops, which was also this week, was something that, you know, it was a new thing, so I was going like, yeah, we'll do this as a double billing episode. You know, I haven't done one in a while, so here we go. And then we ran out of time to even actually do the second one because we'd have been there all night otherwise. And that's something where I just draw the line about that. Yeah. Not good. I know I stay up, but I do have my limits. And I tend to try and actually, you know, keep to them. It's another place I used to go, which was closer than I anticipated. I guess I used to drive, I just walk there now. I don't know. But yeah, I guess those are my two main things for this week. Christmas update's actually been also been developing. We switched to the backup of Geneva, and now we actually need a choir to help us. Maybe I'll put like a video chapter or something, because I need to make an announcement that we're actually looking for people to sing a rendition of We Three Kings, and some people to hopefully solo while that happens. You know, at least we need at least 2 soloists that aren't one particular person who is, you know, needs to solo. It's the whole point of the scene. But yeah. Although I guess, now that I think about it, did we ever say in the script that it was meant to be a solo? That was stage directions. I might have to change that if the person in question does not respond. Which I hate doing. I've been trying to stick to as much of what I did originally as possible. But with the script from 2020, alterations have had to be made based on how we structure these things now, because that was before I started numbering scenes and everything. So rearranging them according to editors, which I also need to check up on. Like I said, a lot going on. I think it's my issue that I can only really sustain one gacha project at a time, even though I'd love to work on several, just because it's not really feasible and also not responsible for me based on everything else that I do. I barely do any edited videos anymore, quite honestly. That was a big part of, you know, everything for me. I don't really know. I realize I'm running out of time already. I said if it went back by a certain point, then they could leave without me and drive back up. So I guess I'm going overtime. There's not really too much else to say, so maybe I guess I can just sign off here, to be honest. Yeah, sure, please if you like or dislike, because your opinion matters, I've noticed already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.